Well, hello, my friends. Tonight I will do a little book review of Naomi Klein's book, The Shock Doctrine. And it is completely permissible if I am now reading some excerpts from this book in the interest of informing people and not for monetary gain. So I am permitted to do so under copyright law anywhere. And I'm quite certain that it is useful information. So I will start with some excerpts from this book, which is an excellent resource for information, by the way. With the most tech-dependent economy in the world, Israel was hit harder by the dot-com bust than any place else. The country went into immediate freefall than even anyone could have imagined before September 11th, because it happened a few months earlier than this. Analysts were predicting that roughly 300 high-tech firms in Israel would go completely bankrupt, with tens of thousands of layoffs. The Tel Aviv business newspaper Globes declared in a headline that 2002 was the worst year for the Israeli economy since 1953. The only reason the recession was not even worse, Naomi Klein writes, was that, as the newspaper observed, was that the Israeli government quickly intervened with a powerful 10.7% in military spending increases, partially financed through cutting back on social services within Israel. The government also encouraged the tech industry to branch out from information and communication technologies and into security and surveillance. In this period, the Israeli Defense Forces played a role similar to a business incubator. Young Israeli soldiers experimented with network systems and surveillance devices while they fulfilled their mandatory military service, and then they turned their findings into business plans when they returned to civilian life. A slew of new startups were launched, specializing in everything from search and nail, data mining, to surveillance cameras and terrorist profiling. When the market for these services and devices exploded in the year after September 11th, 2001, the Israeli state openly embraced a new national economic vision. The growth provided by the dot-com bubble would be replaced with a homeland security boom. It was the perfect marriage of the Likud party's hawkishness and its radical embrace of Chicago school economics, as embodied by Sharon's finance minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Israel's new central bank chief, Stanley Fischer, chief architect of the IMF's shock therapy adventures in Russia and Asia. By 2003, Israel was already making a stunning recovery. In 2004, the country had seemed to pull off a miracle. After all its calamitous crash, it was performing better than most Western economies. Much of this growth was due to Israel's savvy posturing of itself as a kind of shopping mall for homeland security technologies. The timing was perfect. governments around the world were suddenly desperate for terrorist hunting tools, as well as for human intelligence know-how in the Arab world. Under the leadership of the Likud party, the Israeli state billed itself as a showroom for the cutting-edge homeland security state, drawing on its decades of experience and expertise fighting Arab and Muslims. Israel's pitch to North America and Europe was straightforward. The war on terror you are just embarking on is one we have been fighting all along. Let our high-tech firms and privatized spy companies show you how it's done. Overnight, Israel became, in the words of Forbes magazine, the go-to country for anti-terrorism technologies. Every year since 2002, Israel has played a host to at least half a dozen major homeland security conferences for lawmakers, policy chiefs, sheriffs, and CEOs from around the world, with their size and scope growing annually. As traditional tourism suffered in the face of security fears, this kind of official counter-terrorism tourism emerged to fill the gap. You know, there are so many facts in this book, and this is a book review after all, that I could just recommend. I would just recommend that everyone reads this book from cover to cover. You know, most people are just too lazy to read books anymore, but probably you should read this one in conjunction with Samuel Huntington's book called The Clash of Civilization. Read both books from cover to cover, and then make up your own mind as far as the sourcing is concerned and where these ideas are coming from. I cannot really emphasize this enough within a book review, and I have much more to say, and I will quote more paragraphs from Naomi Klein's book, because it is very important that people hear this. Thanks for listening.